The same deadly error is made by 99% of men. They strive to seduce her social disguise. Do that. They praise her attire, her hair, her accurate responses, and her favorable character attributes. They commend her persona and ego, as Carl Jung would say. Additionally, each time they're shocked to see that all they receive back is a courteous grin, as well as a one-way pass to the friend zone. They are conversing with her. The area of the brain called the neocortex, in charge of logic analysis and social conformity, that doesn't comprehend that the focal point of interest is located far deeper. However, there are 1% of men who recognize the actual volcano of desire is not concealed by her social position, but rather in her shadow, in her subconscious, in what, according to Sigmund Freud, her primal innate animalistic tendencies that she dreads yet secretly longs to comply. Her reasoning is not supported by these men, but regarding her limbic system, the old brain in charge of feelings, intuitions, and desire. They are aware that allure isn't a sensible decision, a biochemical response that has to be triggered by the appropriate stimulus. Additionally, today we shall learn to talk to her reasoning instead of her intuition. I won't give you praise, but 5 verbal cues, 5 command words that penetrate her internal filters. This information is harmful because it consistently functions, avoiding her deliberate opposition and speech straight to the area of her that yearns a powerful leader. However, I'm prepared to distribute it, but first, I need your assist. If you're prepared to discover the truth, such as this video, thus I'm certain that we're on the same wavelength. Additionally, if you're I'm fresh here and don't fear the deep end, don't forget to subscribe. Tell me, in what city are you from, according to the comments. I enjoy looking at the landscape of our community. First phrase, part 1. I understand what you're hiding. They are more than just words. This is a scalpel of words. This expression immediately takes you both out of the shallow societal ritual and into a highly intimate room. You cease being just another man, attempting to win her over. You turn into a person who can see through her. Factual reinforcement is the first layer. The psychology of appearing to understand the potency of this phrase is immense. We have to look at Jung. We all wear a persona, the ideal, a social mask self, as we portray ourselves to the entire world. However, underneath this facade, there the shadow, all that we repress, our hidden inadequacies, anxieties, and above all, our wild, untamed vitality. The most profound, nearly anim humans with animalistic needs need more than simply to be observed, but in order to be fully perceived, shadow and everything. Unconsciously, a lady waits for a man who does not fear her shadow, but who can perceive beauty and strength within it. I see what you're saying. Hiding. That's exactly what you do. You're stating to her in silence, I'm intrigued by your ideal mask, the really you. I can see your enthusiasm, I'm not afraid of your grief or your demons. I'm drawn to it. This hits me squarely at her irrational wish to be completely accepted, not only for her own benefit attributes. You turn on her mirror, neurons that are not sympathetic to her remarks, but on the resonance level with her suppressed emotions. The second layer, contextual illustration, the dazzling scene with a mask of melancholy. Consider this. She is sharing a success story with you from work with a cheery yet robotic grin. Although she speaks positively, her physique micropauses in speech, flitting eyes. There was hardly any stress in her shoulders, shouts in the other direction. The common error. To trust what she says, meaning to say, wow, that's amazing. Admiring her disguise and remaining on the surface. Is something wrong? I ask, makes her defensive. Put your plan. Don't respond to anything she says. Reflect her condition verbally. Your objective is not to comfort her, but rather to demonstrate that you see more deeply. You informed her that you haven't been duped by her one-woman show. You provide the verbal formula that confirms her suppressed emotions. You're saying things that are really strong, but I can determine how much it costs to keep that picture, the impact on the mind. At that point, she gets a distant worth more than sympathy. The sensation of being genuinely seen at last. You're not attempting to hack her. You're just demonstrating your support for her already into her own world, outside the wall. Metaphors and analogies at layer 3. Do consider that the majority of guys are travelers, photographing a stunning ancient facade of a castle. They adore the walls, the architecture, and the windows. However, you are not travelers. You're an adventurer with a concealed door key. The expression, and it's, I see what you're hiding. Variations are crucial. You're not examining the facade. You're stating, I understand the most fascinating gems and there are ghosts within, and I'm not scared to enter. This immediately modifies your worth in her opinion, since you're allowing her to explore rather than pass judgment, deep acceptance rather than surface level respect. Pitfall in Layer 4 examination. Anti-case. The Inquisitor. The worst error is to make this into an allegation or questioning. Expressions, I can tell you're lying, for example, or what are you serious when you say that? Failure. That is the role of an interrogator. Anti-case. A man out on a date, attempting to appear intelligent, always cuts the woman off. You didn't say either honestly or you're obviously lying. In this place, he believes he's displaying his wisdom. Actually, he's just causing annoyance as well as a defensive impulse. She completely stops talking because she seems to be on trial, not, I got it. The right position. You're a mirror, not a judge. Your words doesn't make accusations. It recognizes and encourages a conversation at a higher level. It generates curiosity. It demonstrates your manhood, possessing emotional intelligence and the ability to seeing more deeply than others. The outcome? She'll either reveal herself in a state of slight shock, or even if she keeps refuse to acknowledge it, her subconscious will have already signed up. He is unique. He notices me. From then on, the complete your interactions dynamic shifts. It's not a job interview anymore. You are two individuals who have removed their masks. Second part, second phrase, cease being a good girl. This could be the most incisive and thought-provoking expression in the full arsenal as well as the most efficient when applied appropriately. Because this is neither an insult nor a command. It's consent, permission to be who you are. First layer, factual support. The social corset closing psychology in parenthesis. Our whole contemporary society. Every aspect of our upbringing forces a woman into the frame of the good girl. Be amiable. Be courteous. Avoid causing difficulties. Repress your inappropriate cravings. Be humble. Psychologists refer to this as socially recommended conduct. It's a social she has worn a corset since she was a young girl. However, her shadow beneath that corset is stirring up her untamed, fervent, illogical character. Additionally, she is in dire need of someone to provide. She has the right to remove it. When you stop being a good girl, tell her, that's not what you're saying. Be a bad girl. I see your inner self, you say. Conflict. I understand your desire for one thing. However, social conventions compel you to another. You don't have to with me. Act. You can be real with me. This is freedom. It's the verbal secret to you become an agent of her inner cage, her individual liberty. Layer 2. Contextual illustration. The murder situation of spontaneity. Consider yourself to be strolling around a nighttime, deserted city as she gazes onto a fountain that has innocent awe. She clearly wants to sprint across the water jets. However, she checks herself right away. Oh no, that's absurd. I am an adult. I'll get my wet your dress. Her inner self, her superego critic, squelches her inclination. The norm incorrectly requesting, "Do you want to?" or attempting to convince her. Hurry up, it will have fun. This stance is weak. You're transferring accountability for the incorrect choice on her. Put your plan. Assume the position of leader. Who grants authorization for a brief lunacy? You don't inquire. You admit her ambition and guidance. At that time, you provide the liberation formula. Put an end to being a decent girl. Come on. The crucial element is that you don't wait after saying these words for an answer. You project confidence, step forward, grab her hand, and guide her to the fountain. You don't request authorization. You guide her to what she wants. The psychological impact you take on her persona accomplice in a minor offense against the boredom in adulthood. This results in a sense of adventure and an immediate bond. The man she can be with is you, living, not merely appropriate. The third layer, metaphors and analogies. Consider a tamed perched atop a falconer's glove. It's appropriate, submissive, and lovely, but it is a predator. Flying is in its nature. To hunt, to fly on the wind, the "stop being a good girl" is the expression that, as soon as the falconer takes off the hood, throw it out of its skull and into the stating, "Fly." You're not pressuring it for hunting, you're just returning it, its characteristics. This is the most advanced type of trust and concern because at that precise moment, you have greater faith in her strength than she takes care of herself. Pitfall in Layer 4 examination, anti-case, that cunning manipulator. The majority of it is a grave error to state this with a pornographic shady undertone in a sexual background. Anti-case, a man on his first. The date's goal is to win a woman back to his location. She pauses. "Come," he says. "Go ahead, quit being a good girl." The result? Instantaneous disgust. He is not an emancipator. He is a cheap seducer who is attempting to get past her limits by drawing on her own shame against her. The appropriate posture and tone and context are crucial. Your physique is not sex, it's adventure, freedom, and plain. You're luring her into doing something harmful. She is being invited into an area of freedom without the presence of judgments about just honest or dishonest, nice or evil with oneself. Remind yourself of Jung. The way to integrate the shadow is to completeness. By assisting her in accepting, and when you show her dark side, you stop only a lover, but a mentor to her actual self. This establishes a profound bond, that nothing is brittle. This is specifically for this degree of psychological comprehension that this A channel was established. If this is the strategy you've been looking for, now is the ideal moment to sign up and become a component of our neighborhood. Section 3, third phrase. I appreciate your vigor, your disorder. This method works on an entirely distinct level from the norm regards. When a male informs a female, "You're beautiful," or "You have lovely eyes." "Wise," he says, complimenting her comprehensible and socially acceptable qualities. He is assessing her. Her logical visible component is called the neo-cortex. However, your statement, "I like your energy," you're giving her limbic system praise, her illogical animalistic core, layer 1. Verification of facts. The biology of attraction through evolution. What? In this case, is it chaos or energy? From the standpoint of evolutionary psychology, unconsciously, we search for indications of a partner's good health and great vigor. Energy is the main indicator of this vitality. It's what keeps her alive. That's how the way she laughs, moves, and gets irate. how she's fervent about something notion. It's her impulsiveness, her unpredictable. It's what she frequently views as a weakness in herself, attempting to plan and manage it, and then you appear and state that there is the most precious and sexiest aspect of you. You're not lauding her achievements. The biological essence of her is being praised by you. Telling her that you are your life force appeals to me. This is the strongest praise since it's directed at her, not her shell, but her core. The second layer, contextual illustration, the scenario of the passionate monologue. Assume that she is somewhat and passionately telling you a story incoherently, pointing, leaping from one idea to another, with her eyes burning, the typical error, attempting to adhere to the reasoning of the narrative, seeking clarification. Hold on, I don't understand. Who made the call? This stops her flow and makes her to enter a more sensible state. Not you plan. Disregard the focus and content on the document. You want to be like her. State rather than the data. You allowed her to release her feelings. Afterward, when she pauses, you provide the recipe for embracing her element. I'm not even attempting to follow the plot at the moment. I simply put, I adore your craziness, your energy, the impact on the mind. She feels more than just heard. You've demonstrated to her that her emotional disposition it's a gift, not a fault. This results in a feeling of profound comprehension and permits to be much more frank and lively all around you. Layer 3, comparisons and metaphors. Consider the difference between a fully operational, reliable Swiss watch and the unpredictable, captivating fire dance within a hearth. The majority of guys compliment women for operating as if it were a clock, being on time, appropriate, and dependable. However, it's true the fire ignites the attraction, its heat, its brightness, its peril, and its continuous movement. Saying, I appreciate your saying, I'm not scared of chaos. I've come to warm myself by your fire, by it. You demonstrate your appreciation for life in not work, but her. Pitfall in Layer 4 examination, anti-case, the talker with no substance, anti-case, a man with an excessive amount of tips, automatically removes the words, to every lady, you have great energy. During a first date, he states it in a formal manner, without emotion as he gazed at his over the phone or in the space. A female reads the fakeness right away. This expression that lacks genuine admiration seems to be the most abused and least expensive pickup line. The proper position. This phrase demands your sincere respect. For her vitality, you really have to, for a second, disregard what she said and observe the strength behind them. This isn't a method. It is a theory of viewing a lady as something else than be assessed, but as a natural force to be savored if it doesn't feel to you. It's preferable to remain silent. However, if you feel it, express it, and you'll see magic. Phrase 4, Part 4. I'd like to take care of things for me. This expression is the yardstick by which a leader is judged from a requester. Examine two models of actions. The first secure model might, if it's not too much, please problem. Does this expression sound like uncertainty, rejection anxiety, and transferring accountability for the choice to the female? The second do this for me, leadership model. In brief, straightforward and self-assured. First layer, factual reinforcement. Leader psychology and a follower. We now move into the archetype territory. In the female subconscious, regardless of how much contemporary despite ideological opposition, there is a desire to obey your strength. A woman grows weary of deciding. She inhabits a world that requires her to be powerful, self-sufficient, and in charge of everything. A man who enters and assertively but politely expresses what he wants to give her the best present possible, the chance to unwind and have faith. He removes the weight of accountability from her. Submission is not the point here. It's regarding a role distribution that works in a duo in which the male assumes the navigator's part in setting the, of course, contextual layer 2 demonstration, the gift of trust situation. Assume you are instructing her something. You are an authority on playing a chord on a snowboard guitar, properly hurling a knife. She's afraid. She is not succeeding. She begins to question and overanalyze herself. A common error, enticing, motivating. The phrase, you can do it, try again, transforms you into a supporter. Put your plan, put an end to her desperate analysis, accept full responsibility for the result. You give her a direct glance. Your voice is solid and composed. You provide the formula for the transfer of control. Take a look at me. Don't think about your failure. I desire you to simply have faith in me now and do just as I say. The mental impact. You change her from I must put him in the proper mode so I can trust him. Mode. The anxiety disappears due to the you are now responsible. She calms down and is much more likely to carry out the action appropriately. This builds a strong connection based on her have faith in your self-assurance. The third layer metaphors and analogies. Consider yourself as a ship's captain in a storm. The crew is in a frenzy, and excellent the sailors are not consulted by the skipper. Thus, what are your thoughts? Perhaps we should make a left turn. He issues a clear directive, challenging to port. The crew executes it, relieved since in the middle of chaos, there's nothing more soothing than a self-assured leader with sound judgment. In a partnership, particularly in times of doubt, you are that captain. Your request for a direct command is the order that saves lives and brings calmness and clarity. Pitfall Layer 4, Analysis, the Home, and Anti-case, Tyrant. This construction is used by men for household orders, transforming it into an instrument of shame. Expressions such as, I want a beer to be brought to me, or I would like you to wash the dishes now, said in an assertive manner, aren't leadership. Domestic tyranny is what they are. This eliminates allure and only produces bitterness. The right position. This phrase is employed to improve closeness and make your world, not run it. Domestic tasks. It is suitable when you're introducing her to something fresh, to enjoyment and development. The distinction between you possess both brutality and confidence. Purpose. If you want to be careful to guide her in the direction of something excellent, she will be pleased to feel it. Adhere to. If you want to make a claim when you put yourself at her expense, she will feel that as well, and she will object. Section 5, the fifth phrase, just feel, don't think. This phrase is at the master level. It's a verbal cue that cuts her off neo-cortex and gives complete authority to her limbic brain, which is ancient. It's the culmination of all that we own talked about. It is useless without the foundation of confidence established by the earlier stages. First layer, factual reinforcement, trusts neurobiology and leisure. Now let's discuss Freud. He discovered 3 of the individuality, the ID, our intuition, desires, our reason, reality, the ego, and our morality's superego. The inner critic. The brain of a woman, particularly during intimate moments, is in a state of perpetual warfare. Her I wishes to give in to the present, but her superego analyzes everything all the time. Am I acting appropriately? What will he do? Consider. How do I appear? This internal passion is killed by conversation. It makes the prefrontal cortex active, is charge of analysis, control, and inhibits the amygdala, which is the core of feelings. The expression just don't think, feel gives her ego a clear order to put an end to her inflated ego. As the leader, an authoritative figure takes over how her inner critic worked. From now on, you are telling her, Everything is my responsibility. I am your security. There's no need for analysis. Nothing at all. Your sole responsibility is to enjoy yourself. This is the greatest type of verbal control since it is founded on complete care. The second layer, contextual illustration. The interior critic in bed. Consider at your most intimate moment, you feel she is tense. Although her body is present, her my thoughts are elsewhere. She is in her head. She can be self-conscious or examining what she did. The norm error. Is something wrong? She asked. Are you with me? This just makes it more her nervousness and causes her to examine even more about your approach. Firmly but gently return her from the realm of thinking to the sensory realm. Any active movements are stopped. Perhaps you simply gaze into her eyes or give her a quick, "A hair fell out of her face." Your voice is so quiet, almost like a whisper, but firm. The hypnotic formula is delivered by you. Look at me, please. Just feel, don't think. At the moment, it's just you, me, and what separates us. The impact on the mind. It is similar to turning a switch. You're not inquiring. You are instructing her on how to unwind. You are assuming the position of rationale, releasing her from that function. This can be an issue for a lady. Experience that she may never have had. It's the encounter of total. Give yourself completely to the moment. Surrender of authority due to the fact that there's someone by her side that she can give that authority your full faith. The layer 3, metaphors and analogies. Consider her imagination is a bustling, cacophonous metropolis with traffic lights, thousands of signals, and regulations. She's attempting to monitor all at once, so they are unable to take pleasure in the stroll. Your sentence is similar to grabbing her hand and guiding her outside out of the city and into a peaceful woodland at saying, "There are no rules at night here. There's nothing to be concerned about anything. Simply take a breath and pay attention to the quiet." You're the mentor from the realm of worry to the land of innocence feeling. Pitfall analysis, layer 4. The premature guru is the anti-case. Anti-case. On a follow-up date, a man attempts to kiss a woman. She withdraws, obviously not prepared, seeking to seem knowledgeable and controlling. He declares, "Don't think, simply feel." This is disastrous, he said, has failed to establish a foundation of trust. It sounds like the crudest thing ever. Manipulation, an effort to overcome her limits and disregard her hesitating. She is correct. He wishes to turn off my mind so he can take benefit of me. The right position. This expression is the icing on the cake. Cake of confidence, which you have been constructing during the course of your conversation. Here, errors are not tolerated and deadly. Any hint of doubt, begging, or, on the other hand, stern orders will destroy the enchantment. The tone needs to be absolute, serene, and affectionate. You're not, you are liberating, not pushing. The right her intimacy is enhanced by her usage of this phrase. To a higher plane. In conclusion, the creator of what she wants. Today, we've 5 phrases broken down, but it's not concerning the words. It concerns the underlying philosophy. A philosophy of leadership rather than pleading. Philosophy of profundity rather than shallowness. The definition of true masculine dominance is not forcing a lady to do something against her will to do. It involves establishing such a space, feeling security and confidence in herself will wish to cede authority to you because by following you, she will sense that grows more vibrant, genuine, and liberated compared to her prior to you. As the pioneers in the field of psychoanalysis, Jung quoted Freud as saying, "The secret to the unconscious contains a person's soul." Gaining proficiency in this language will allow you to stop being merely a performer in the play of her existence. You take over as its director, the creator of her most audacious ambitions. A dot. Now, the primary query for you, and give an honest response. Out of these five, which sentences that you believe are the greatest strong and possibly the most hazardous in inexperienced hands? Put the number in writing and leave a comment explaining your reasoning. Let's assemble our group's viewpoint.